Hi everybody, today we're going to be doing the grade 5 lesson 9 worksheet. Question number 1. Compare the decimals, then write greater than, less than, or equal to for each. Example 1, we see that 0.91 is greater than 0.89, so we'd write greater than. For number 2, 0.190 is greater than or less than or equal to 0.0190. We know that 0.190 is greater than. Here, these two numbers are equal because if you put a 0 after the 1, it keeps the number the same and it makes these two numbers perfectly equal. So that means 10.10 is equal to 10.10. Question number 4, 98.12 and 111.12. We can see that the number on the right is greater, so we put a less than symbol. Number 5, 0.195, 0.196. 0.196 is greater. Number 6, 91.20, 91.11. 0.20 is greater. Number 7, 0.000 and 0.00. These two numbers are equal to each other because putting 0 means that you can substitute the 0 out for nothing in that place. And if we substitute these zeros out for nothing, if I were to color these white just to show you, if I were to just color these white and remove these x's, then you'll be able to see that nothing is equal to nothing. Alright, let's change this back. Put the numbers back. We know that these two are equal to each other. Number 8, 0.1 is greater than, less than, or equal to 0.003. 0.1 is greater because it has the largest value after the decimal point. If we read this out in word form like we did a couple weeks ago, or for the past couple weeks, 0.1 is 1/10. 0.003 is 3 thousandths. We know that tenths are greater than thousandths because it's closer to that decimal point. And so that makes 0.1 greater than 0.003, even though 1 is less than 3. Order each set of numbers from the least to the greatest. Let's quickly look at the numbers we have here. 0.1, 0.01, and 1.0. We can see that the least number will be 0.01 because the first digit is a hundredth. Next it will be 0.10, and last it will be 1.0. Question number 2, 1.3, 1.2, 0.3, 1.04. We can see that the smallest digit, or smallest number, is instantly 0.3. But then what's the smaller number between 1.2 and 1.04? Well, 0.4 is a hundredth, and 0.2 is a tenth. And since their one value is equal, we can say 1 is equal to 1. But is 0.2 equal to, less than, or greater than 0.04? 0.2 is greater than 0.04. So what we're going to end up doing is 1.04, and 1.2 will be the greatest number in the data set. 0.591, 1.581, 0.592. Smallest number is 0.591, then 0.592, and lastly the largest number is 1.581. We can easily see what the greatest number is because if you go down and look at each number in every place value, if one number has a digit anywhere that another number doesn't have that digit, then usually that number is greater. So here, 0.8 to 0, 0.090, 0.8 to 1. 0.090 is obviously the smallest number. because, as I explained just now, these two have 8s in the tens place, but this has a 0. And after that, there's a 9 in the hundredths place, and these two have 2s. So if we remove this 0 and this decimal point, we could think of these numbers as 821, 820, and 90. So obviously, if we look at it like this, 90 is the smallest number. Second smallest number would definitely be 0.820. Lastly, the largest number is 0.821. And that completes this data set. Same thing for here. The smallest number is 0.14. Second smallest number is 0.41. Third smallest number is 1.04. Last question on the page. Here we have 2.1, 2.51, and 1.90. Smallest number is 1.90, then 2.1, then 2.51. As you know, I'm writing it as 2.1 and not 2.10 because you could substitute the 0 out for nothing and essentially remove that place value, making this number 2.1. All letters represent a value. Write greater than, less than, or equal to for each. So, A is 0.15, B is 0.02. Is A greater than, or less than, or equal to B? A is greater. C is 0, B is 0.02, that means C is less than B. D and B, D is 0.2, B is 0.02, D is greater. A plus B, which is 0.17, and E, which is 0.3. E is greater, so we'd write that. AC, which is A times C, which is 0, is less than, greater than, or equal to 0. It will be equal to, since any number multiplied by 0 is 0, that means 0 is equal to 0. D minus E, which happens to be negative 0.1, right? Yes, negative 0.1, is greater than, less than, or equal to C. It is less than C. E divided by B. Since E is 0.3, divide that by 0.02. We can see that the number we get is 15. So is 15 greater than, less than, or equal to? Is 15 greater than, less than, or equal to 0.2? It is greater. Lastly, A times B, which would be 0.03, is greater than, less than, or equal to E. Wait 1 second, let me double check. If we multiply 0.15 by 0.02, number we get is 3.0. So we wouldn't get 0.03, but instead 0.30, which makes these two values equal to each other. Solve each word problem. What digit could you put in the underline to make the statement true? This statement, this number has to be less than this number, so I just put a 9. Whenever you have to find a number that's less than something else and you have the choice to change one of the numbers, then you should always put the largest number that you can put inside that underline. And here, since it's one digit, I put a 9. This number has to be equal to this number, and since we can see that there's a 9 in the hundredths place, and the hundredths place here is blank, we put a 9. And since there's a 4 in the ones place, we put a 4 here. Are the values 0.1, 0.10, and 0.100 the same? Yes, they are. Yes, they are, because adding zeros after a number, after a digit, is a choice, and you can substitute the zeros for nothing as long as there are no digits after the zeros. At an art festival, the top 3 ranked pieces are placed in order based on their score. If the score is out of 10 and the second piece has a score of 9.25, what may the scores be for the first and third pieces? First place has to be greater than 9.25, so we can say first place is greater than 9.25, third place has to be less than 9.25. So we could just write third place is less than 9.25. And since we don't want to specifically look for a tie, they do not have to ever be equal. Thanks for watching.